pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
President Honeychurch,
I'm here.
Trustee Cargo Reed,
Here.
Trustee Kara,
Here.
Trustee Lopez Lara, Trustee Thurston, Trustee Young,
Present.
Trustee Boyce, Student Trustee Srini Srivasan, and I'm here.
All right, so the next item is item 4, which is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
A second motion?
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there requests to comment from anyone on the closed session? Apparently not. So we'll move now into closed session, and we will reconvene the regular meeting at 7 o'clock. This, at this time, we'll reconvene the regular meeting. And item 8 is report of action taken in closed session. There was no action taken in closed session. It moves us now to item 9, which is comments from the members of the public. And there is a request to speak from Marie Moranek. Forgive me for your, I should know better how to pronounce your name. Go ahead. Welcome.
And now the Director of Nursing. I successfully managed millions of dollars in strong workforce and Perkins funds. On Friday the 13th at 3 p.m., I received an email from payroll stating that for the past 44 months, the district has incorrectly calculated my STRS contributions. They asked how I would like to repay the 10.25%, or almost $10,000. Would I like to do it in 2 months, 4 months, or 6 months, beginning with my September paycheck? They need to know by tomorrow. There is no mention of how the district is going to reimburse me for the taxes that I already paid on these earnings. I requested a meeting and have waited for over 3 business days for a response. Crickets. In addition, there was no apology in the initial email. Is this how we treat people here at Solano College now? When I was a dean, if I had screwed up an individual's pay or misrepresented or misreported grant funding, I would no longer have a job. This error by the Fiscal Services Department is unacceptable, and the fact that they cannot respond is entirely inappropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm sure that this will be addressed by the administration. So next item is item 10, which are reports, associated students. I'm sorry?
She's absent. She's attending our Queer the Vote.
All right, Academic Senate, Josh Scott.
Josh is ill.
And the next item is the College Governance Council and the Superintendent's Report. And Kelly Butler is here and not ill.
So I will do the college governance and then the SP report. Since our last update, the College Governance Council has met August 28th, September 11th. At the August meeting, we received a budget presentation update that the board also received for fiscal year 24-25, an IT update highlighting the progress made with password resets and getting the college passwords changed, and a discussion of the upcoming accreditation visit that is actually occurring next week on September 24th and 25th. At the September 11th meeting, we received a Student Equity and Achievement Plan update highlighting the accomplishments of the C Plan Phase 1 and 2 and the upcoming plans that we have for third year, which is Phase 3. VP Neely will present a student services update in a study session later this semester, so she'll be able to highlight the achievements we've made, but I wanted to just share a couple things that we talked about, which was the establishment and launch of the Black Falcon Success Program, the expansion of basic needs support and academic success and tutoring, and relaunching our MESA program were successes in our Phase 1 and 2. And Phase 3 is a couple highlights of conducting a transportation survey. I believe several of the trustees were interested in shuttle service, and so VP Neely is working with local transit authority to explore how we can better serve our students with a shuttle to all of the campuses, and evaluating some of our services in student orientation, academic standing, and graduation petition. We also discussed updating the college's current shared governance policy and SEC Board Policy 2005. This will eventually come to the board for approval. And there was also discussion of a naming for the Early Learning Center for faculty member Jawan Vartanian, former student and long-term employee who has richly contributed to the college and has substantial statewide and national influence. And we will be bringing the naming to the board for approval in October. For the SP board update, I mentioned in August we had gotten off to a really great start. We had only been in session for a few weeks, so I wanted to revisit enrollment, which continues to be strong. Post-census data shows that we're at a head count of 9,307 compared to last year at 8,801. And our fall full-time equivalent students, which is our FTES, which is how we receive our resource allocation, is currently at 3,085 compared to 2,920 last year this time. The SP's office has held 2 faculty welcome receptions in addition to the staff receptions that I shared last time. And I wanted to also do a couple shout outs since Shreya isn't here, but to just highlight that the students did an amazing job yesterday co-hosting a voter registration event with the League of Women Voters. Yesterday was National Voter Registration Day, and we had lots of students registering to vote and confirming their voter registration. We also held a transfer fair. Student services counselors helped to organize the event, and we had hundreds of students that were coming through having conversations with various colleges from Sac State, UC Davis, and some representatives from out of state, Columbia and University of Idaho, just to name a few. That concludes my update.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
So last year we were at 881, and this year we're
8,000.
at 9,307. Have we kind of thought about why of the increase? I mean, is there something we're doing differently? Are we doing a lot more online? Are we reaching out more? Have we gotten a lot more high school students?
So we have seen that we are increasing our inmate ed program. So our SOAR program is
Nice.
growing.
Okay.
And so that does explain some of the growth. Our dual enrollment has increased. That explains some of the growth. And our online classes, we have a strong enrollment. So we know that those are 3 areas where there has been student growth. We have, I believe I shared in the last update that there is a 5% increase in enrollment based on our pre-COVID numbers to now. One of the things we're looking at now is just to look at the demographics of the data, because even though we're growing, there still are students, for example, and I mentioned this before, in Vallejo, where we have data where the Latino and Black males are not going to college at the same rate as other students. And so we're currently working on a plan to address some of those concerns.
Thank you. That's great. Great news. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Next item is item 11, consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine and will be enacted by the board in one motion. There's no discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed. Time will be provided before the vote for clarification questions without removing an item from the consent agenda. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. There are no items removed. We're on to item 13. Non-consent agenda items, action items, first of which is a resignation to retire. Sal Abate is the presenter on this.
Good evening, President Honeychurch, members of the board. We actually have our Director of IT here, Justin Howell, who will be speaking on this employee, so he's going to come up here to the microphone. Thank you,
Thanks for
Justin.
coming.
Thank you, Sal. Good evening, President Honeychurch, trustees of the board, Superintendent President Butler, thanks for giving me a moment just to say a few words about a good friend of mine. James Richard Augustus, network engineer. He would do anything for you for 20 bucks. And he would not hesitate to tell you. So I first met him when I was a green network tech myself, and I was asked to be on his hiring committee. And like I said, I was still new. I barely understood all the acronyms in that job description I was trying to hire. But he put me at ease day one because he knew his stuff. He was ready to work and ready to learn. And that was the start of a partnership that would endure for over 17 years. He was either my trusted collaborator or my right-hand man for the majority of my career here, and I've been here 22 years. I remember all the nights and weekends sitting on cold concrete floors, patching and programming new network closets because providing connectivity is the beginning of opportunity for providing education. We started as colleagues, and we were very dedicated to one another. And over time, we became steadfast allies, and eventually I had the pleasure to be his leader. As my career grew, he grew me. When I ventured down the road to management, he was my support. He was my cheerleader for all that I was trying to accomplish, both in my life, but in the department and the college's vision. He constantly helped grow and educate every member of our department. He distributed knowledge, was a mentor to now multiple generations of people in our own department. This is a prime example of an employee that cannot simply be replaced, but a legacy that must endure. And so I have my work cut out for me now. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much for your comments and coming here tonight.
That was lovely, thank you.
So is there a motion to approve the resignation?
I'll make a motion to approve. 13A.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resignation is approved. Next item is a job description. New classified manager, Director of Veterans and Military Services and Programs. Is this your item as well? Go ahead.
Thank you, President Honey Church, members of the board. As the college is looking at expanding our services to our veterans and our military personnel, VP Neely has been working with our student services and veteran services current, and we're looking to expand our leadership in that area by bringing in a director. Currently, we have a coordinator, which is a CSEA or a classified position. This would expand the ability to serve our veterans by having this director role and also allow for some higher level duties that currently don't exist in our CSEA position. So we're presenting this to you tonight for your approval.
Thank you. I asked whether we could legally ask for a veteran to apply for this job, and I was told no, that we couldn't do that. And I can understand why we can't do that. What I want to say, though, is, and I've said this before, vulnerable groups need to know that they're welcome and needed and wanted. And I think it's really important if vulnerable groups hear and see somebody that can understand them. That's all I have to say. Obviously, there's not very much more that I can say, but if we want to help Solano get better through Solano Community College, we have to really understand how desperately difficult it is to move up in America today. Anyway, thank you. Please.
Thanks for those comments. So,
I have a question. I assume all of these duties are currently being shared with different ones in that division, right? They're still getting done, And people are on overload. That's why we need someone else to come in and lift some of that weight off individuals who are on overload.
Yes, if I may respond, absolutely. In addition to what Sal said, this is an area that has increasing compliance and requirements because you've got the federal level, the VA, you've got the state VA, you've got other MOUs that we manage with different veterans and military affiliated organizations, in addition to the whole certifying responsibility, which is huge. So this is really being able to name the fact that we need that higher level of supervision to really think about the strategic direction of how we're serving military affiliated students, making sure that we're still serving all of the benefit allocations that we do. So that work is being done, but we want folks to be able to also look ahead and be able to stay abreast of all of the changes that are coming pretty quickly.
All right, thanks. So is there a motion to approve the,
I think our colleague over there wanted to ask.
oh,
Yes, I
sorry.
did, real quick. I just, again, I am glad that we are making a job for a director, given how amazing our programs are, and that there is a need, especially last year we had a study session that was very good. And I couldn't believe all the programs that we do offer our veterans, active military. It's kind of a unknown but hidden gem, and I'd like to see it go further, of course, because we do love and appreciate our military. So thank you for creating a job description for a director, which I didn't realize we didn't have. I just assumed, and you know what we say about that. So thank you, guys. I appreciate this.
All right, thank you for your comments. So is there a motion to approve the new classified manager job description?
Yes, I move that we approve item 13B.
I second.
So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is item C, which is EEO annual certification. So, Mr. Body, you're presenting on this as well.
Thank you again, President Honey Church, members of the board. This was brought at the last board meeting as an informational item to the board. We are bringing it back tonight for approval so we can submit our EEO certification to the state. So, thank you.
Are there any questions on this item? If not, is there a motion to approve it? Okay. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
So this was brought last time. Now, I am terribly sorry, but when I went through it this time, I completely forgot that it was brought last time. So I must have misread things last time. What I would love is if you could go over some of the responses to harassment and discrimination complaints and give us a little bit, for the benefit of the people that listen at home, a little bit of a summary of that.
Sure. Are you talking specifically about specific complaints, or are you
No,
just
no, I'm
in?
assuming you can't talk specific complaints. I've learned my lessons, kind
Yeah.
of well, but not too
Yeah.
well. But just a little bit, what do we do when we have this? How do we deal with it? Just a little bit of make people that are listening, I'm sorry, is me? Okay, thank you. That was the first time you were nice to me, actually. So just give people at home a little bit of a summary of something that's very important.
Well, thank you very much. No, and now I better understand the interest, so I appreciate that. Thank you. The college takes all of these complaints extremely seriously, and whenever somebody makes us aware of this, we always do an investigation of some time. We will meet with the complainant as well as the respondent. We will gather information. We will do an evaluation. If it is a serious enough claim, will bring in a third-party outside investigator to manage that investigation so that we are getting all of the possible feedback. We always try to make anybody who brings these things forward feel heard and understood and respected. Sometimes, as we know, the letter of the law is pretty high in some of these cases. And while they might not reach the letter of the law in terms of a sexual harassment complaint or some type of hostile work environment, we still do take them seriously, and we will address the concerns brought by the complainant. I'm going to knock on wood because we don't have a lot of these. We tend not to. But again, when we do get them, we take them very seriously. So
Thank you. And if somebody has a problem, who do they go to?
they can contact any of their managers. They can come directly to HR and talk to myself or any of my staff, any of our VPs. That's where we would recommend they go first. We try to keep Dr. Butler out of the initial issue because she becomes the appeal in certain situations. But again, any of our managers or our VPs, then they will report it usually to HR, and then we will manage the investigation however we need to manage it.
Do we have a situation where, like, for example, where I work, there's what is it, when it's anonymous, an anonymous place where somebody can,
We did have that, but we did discontinue with that right before COVID started. But I've been looking and having some conversations about bringing it back now that we're more in person. I was actually at a conference last week with our JPA, our Joint Powers Authorities, where they had some good groups that they were using for this stuff. So, we do want to explore that option to bring that back. So,
thank you.
All right, is there a motion to approve the EEO annual certification as presented?
I move we approve.
I second the motion.
All right, any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item is item D. It's presented by Lucky Lofton, Vice President. Contract amendment to number 1 to HBI inspections for time extension and project inspection. So is Mr. Lofton available?
Thank you, President
There
Honeychurch,
he is.
members of the board. This is a no-cost contract extension to align this particular contractor with our project schedule.
Trustee Honeychurch,
Yes.
I move that we approve item 13D, E, F, and G.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Do you have any further comments on the other items on this agenda?
Just be aware that the contract award to HMR Architects for the 200 shade structure replacement is not a bond project. It is a state-funded project. It'll be managed by facilities. VP Wheat will have oversight over the use of those funds. This is for safety concerns that have been raised over at child care with existing shade structures.
All right, thank you. So, all those in favor of the motion to approve these items, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. That was through F. correct? Next item, then, we're on H then, correct?
H.
Good, thank you. This is an academic affairs item. Vice President David Williams is a presenter. It's an agreement with Hanover Research Council, LLC, for custom research membership. Please tell us, where are they? He's not even here.
Good evening, President Honeychurch. I am not David Williams. However, happy to present on his behalf. We're asking the board to approve this membership. Essentially, it's a research membership with Hanover. They're quite well known and quite a few colleges utilize them. And essentially, it allows us to work with them on specific one-off and or a series of research projects that we determine and working with them. There's a couple of things that we are already thinking about what we would continue to develop if the board approves, and this is everything that they're equipped to do, from things like a campus climate survey. If we're interested in progressing a conversation around a compressed calendar, they're great at being able to do a lot of the number crunching and the analytics. It's also handy sometimes when there's a project that either requires extra bandwidth or is of such a complex nature. It really provides some extra insulation in terms of research findings and data, and kind of the integrity of that process. And also, what I would just like to report really quickly as part of the context, We've experienced an uptick in folks on campus requesting more research from our research office, which is a great thing, and it includes faculty who are looking at success rates and some of the other forms of data that we provide. So we want to continue to make sure that we can deliver on those internal requests as well. So this is something that helps augment our research capacity. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Do you have a motion?
I have a question. Oh,
Go ahead.
say that again about the uptick that we had?
So we have an internal mechanism, like a help desk ticket, where folks can request different pieces of data. So that might be for a survey, or they might be looking at some of their own data. And so what's really nice is our research team has really done a great job, I think, of making the whole idea of data and looking at the data a more kind of user-friendly process. So we have more folks on campus from different offices, student services, instruction, et cetera, who are requesting data. So it's a great thing, because I think folks are getting a little bit more comfortable with utilizing data and making data-driven decisions. So we want to make sure we continue to be able to support that bandwidth, because it's a good thing that more folks are looking at data and really curious about it.
And you'll share it with the board
Sure.
as well?
Happy
Thank
to,
you.
whatever,
That's
yeah.
lovely. Thank you
Of course, yeah.
All right, thanks. Is there a motion to approve the agreement with Hanover Research Council?
I move we approve this
This item?
item. Thank you.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the Hanover Research Council agreement. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Brings us to Student Services presentation by Vice President Lisa Neely, which is the resolution proclaiming September 15th to October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month.
Thank you, President Honeychurch. So this is something that we do each year, and we'd like to request that the board approve this resolution, which is really honoring and acknowledging Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs halfway through September into halfway through October, so September 15th to October 15th inclusive.
Trustee Honeychurch. I would like to have the resolution read, please.
Happy to indulge. Thank you. Whereas the Solano Community College District Governing Board honors the heritage of Hispanic Latino Americans and acknowledges their many contributions to our nation. Whereas the 2024 National Hispanic Heritage Month theme is Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together. Whereas observance of Hispanic Heritage Month was enacted on August 17, 1988, with the passage of PL 100-402. Whereas the contributions made by Hispanic Latino Americans to our society are not very visible or widely celebrated. Whereas the history of Hispanic and Latino Americans spans centuries, with vibrant cultural traditions, languages, and values that have enriched our shared national identity, exemplified through their achievements in business, in education, science, the arts, government, military service, and beyond. Whereas Hispanic Latino Americans make up 27.5% of Solano County's adult population and 33% of Solano Community College District's full-time student population. Therefore, be it resolved that the Solano Community College District Governing Board proclaims September 15th through October 15th, 2024 as Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you.
All right, thank you for reading.
I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution proclaiming September 15th to October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month. Please call the roll.
President Honeychurch.
Aye.
Trustee Kara.
Aye.
Trustee Cargo-Reed.
Aye.
Trustee Thurston.
Aye.
Trustee Young.
Aye.
And the others are absent. Thank you.
Next item is item 14. It's information items. There are no items listed under our agenda for information. We'll move on to announcements. Are there any announcements? I don't see any. Any items from the board? No. All right, we'll move on to the adjournment motion, which traditionally I call upon our senior member, which is me, actually, but
Right. I was going to say, isn't that you?
is Avery, the gentlewoman from Vallejo.
I'll move that we adjourn our September 18th, 2024 Governor Board meeting.
I seconded.
All right. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good timing.
You're gonna mention